Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Just Love Them podcast. I'm your host, Cherie Best. Join me on a journey to heal relationships and to find peace with those we love who have left their faith. I'd like to share a comment that was made about my podcast. This was not made publicly, and so this is going to be an anonymous comment. This person says, I woke up this morning at 5:45 and had been spending the last few days before trying to ask for some direction or to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. I woke up this morning to open my phone to turn off the alarm, and I had a podcast notification from you, which I don't remember ever getting. It happened to be your one on the broken down car. I just wanted to tell you thank you. That podcast was for me. I'm completely stuck in trying to figure out how to get the hood open, trying to figure out what I need to be doing now, trying to figure out what to do next, where to go, and what help I need. I'm grateful this morning for your podcast. I'm very grateful for the insight and a visual I can get. Thank you for writing that. It means the world to me. Would you like to know a super simple and effective communication pattern to have healthy conversations with the people that you care about most? That's just what we're going to talk about today. When I was raising my children, I had a parenting mentor. My mentor taught parenting classes, took the hardest foster kids in the state, and she lived near me. We became friends, and I would often ask her for advice and help as I was raising my children. I'd run into all kinds of crazy parenting things that I had no idea how to solve. And so I would call Kathy. She was a child whisperer. All you had to do was describe the situation, and she could walk you through whatever it was. And she wasn't all about fixing the child either. She wasn't afraid to openly and honestly show me how I was the problem and what I needed to do differently. She was amazing. Last week, my guest, Tara Brown, talked about triangulation. It reminded me of another kind of triangulation that this same friend and mentor, Kathy, had taught me, and that has been a life-changing understanding for me over the years in my communication, not only with my children, but also with my spouse, with extended family and friends. Today, I want to share what I learned from Kathy with you. When Kathy taught me about this type of triangulation and how unhealthy it is, I started to see it everywhere. You know how when your eyes get open to something and all of a sudden you can't unsee it anymore? I started to see how it was negatively impacting my relationships. Relationships with immediate family members and extended family, relationships with friends, even acquaintances and coworkers. When I was able to see this unhealthy pattern and then flip into using a healthy pattern instead, I started to avoid these sticky, messy, hurtful communication things that happen. And I started seeing surprising and healthy patterns instead. There's many different definitions of triangulation. The one I want to teach you today is where someone involves a third party in a conflict or an issue instead of directly addressing the situation with the person involved. Bringing a third party in can create an unhealthy three-way interaction. What Kathy taught me all those years ago is that when this dynamic is created, there's a role assigned to each of the 3 points of a triangle, hence the word triangulation. So picture a triangle in your head. At the topmost point is the victim. Going down the side of the triangle to the next point, you find the persecutor. And going over to the last point, we find the rescuer. 3 points, 3 roles: victim, persecutor, rescuer. This kind of triangulation creates a very unhealthy communication dynamic. Let me give you an example using 3 siblings. Sibling number 1 gets her feelings hurt by something that sibling number 2 says. Instead of talking directly to sibling number 2 about her hurt feelings, she goes to sibling number 3 and tells her her version of what happened, why she was wronged, and how hurt she is. Sibling number 3 is sympathetic and takes her side against sibling number 2. Sibling number 1 in this situation is the victim on the triangle. Sibling 2, whether she knows it or not, is now the persecutor. And sibling number 3, who is now on sibling number 1's side, assumes the role of the rescuer. Why is this an unhealthy dynamic? For one thing, siblings 1 and 3 are now in alliance against sibling number 2. This kind of an alliance and ganging up does not aid communication or relationships. This also creates division in the family. Instead of resolving issues, this unhealthy triangle can exacerbate conflict and tension between siblings. It's also possible that sibling number 3 didn't want to get involved at all, didn't want to take sides, and feels drawn into an unwanted role, which can create additional problems when the rescuer then tries to play both sides. This unhealthy triangle just causes messes. I want to stop right here and clarify one thing. I am not talking about a situation where someone is a true victim, such as in a violent crime or a form of abuse. That is completely different. In that case, there really is a victim. There really is a persecutor, and the victim really does need to be rescued physically and emotionally from the persecutor. That is a completely different topic than what we are talking about today. This type of unhealthy triangulation that I'm talking about has to do with communication. Here's another scenario. So and so is talking to their friend about how awful their neighbor is, how hard they are to live by, and all the rotten things they've done. The friend is totally on board, agreeing with and validating the wrongs committed against so and so by the neighbor. Can you identify the victim, the persecutor, and the rescuer? So and so is the victim, the neighbor is the persecutor, and the friend is the rescuer. Okay, here's another one. See if you can identify the three in this story. Older teen living at home doesn't like the way mom and dad are parenting her and wants more freedom. After an argument with mom and dad, older teen stomps down to the basement where her younger teen sisters are hanging out. Older teen flops down angrily. What's wrong? The younger teens want to know. Older teen starts to tell them about how she's been wronged by mom and dad, how stupid and behind the times mom and dad are, how unfair mom and dad are. What role is the older teen playing? What role are mom and dad playing? And what about those younger teens? What role are they playing? Now, how are those younger teens going to start thinking differently about mom and dad? How are they going to start acting differently? See how this leads to division, collusion, and unhealthy alliances? It can literally divide a family. Think about the last time you were involved in a conversation where some sort of gossip was happening. Can you identify a triangle in that gossip? Okay, one more. A wife and husband have an argument. It's not resolved, and they both go to bed upset. The next morning, the husband gets up to get ready for work. They hardly speak. The husband walks out the door, leaves for work. Once he's gone, the wife calls her girlfriend and tells her the whole story from the night before, showing her reasoning and her side as she is right, of course. Her girlfriend is sympathetic and invites the wife out to lunch to talk more and comfort her because she's married to a no good, dirty dog. Is she really married to a dirty dog? She obviously feels like the victim, but making her husband the persecutor and her friend the rescuer solves little and may even create more problems when she and her husband later resolve the issue. But she's left with a friend who now hates her husband and treats him coldly whenever they're together. In addition, biased and emotion-charged information was shared that did not respect the privacy of her husband and who had his argument aired publicly without his consent. Just as his wife would not have liked it if her husband had done the same thing to her with his friend. In addition, we humans often color things with emotion, that once the situation is resolved, we no longer feel the same way. We may even be able to either admit we had a part, we're actually in the wrong, or that we could at least see the other person's side. So funny how we can't do it when we're in the emotion in the moment. Why do we use this kind of triangulation so often? Are we trying to be divisive? Are we trying to manipulate people? Are we trying to cause conflict and tension and feelings of resentment toward others? Is that our intent? I don't believe it is. At least not with people who are not suffering from personality disorders. Why do we do it then? Number one, we're in pain. And emotional pain feels better when it is shared with someone. Holding emotional pain alone is heavy and hard. So we find someone to share it with. Number two, we do it because we crave validation. Validation that our pain is real, that we really were wronged, and that we really have a right to feel this way. We all want to have our pain validated. A third reason why we use triangulation: fear. Fear of what? Fear of being taken advantage of, or fear of directly communicating with the person who hurt us and having it not go well, fear of greater conflict, fear of rejection, fear of confrontation with the offended party. Shall I go on? Fear. So we find someone safe to talk to instead, a third party that we're not afraid of. We're not bad people. We are good people in pain, needing validation, and with internal fears. Many of us don't know another way to get these needs met except to use the triangle. I certainly didn't. I grew up with the triangle. It seemed normal. I didn't even know it was unhealthy or that there even was another way. But Cherie, you may be asking, what if I really need support? What if I really do need someone to talk to and figure these things out with? Is that wrong? Am I just supposed to keep it all inside? Be patient. I'm going to get to that. Let me teach you the healthy communication pattern first, and then let's see what we need to do from there. Triangulation, as I have said, is an unhealthy communication pattern. When you have a victim, a persecutor, and a rescuer, it's going to be much harder to resolve the issue. And people's names will get dragged through the mud in the process, complicating the problem. Except in a case of a true victim situation, which I clarified is not what we're talking about here today. This scenario is rarely, if ever, a good solution. So what is? What's a better way to communicate, to resolve things, and to heal a rift in a relationship? In your mind, I want you to draw a straight horizontal line. At one end of the line is you. At the other end of the line is the other person, the person you have a problem with. Now the communication is just between you. There's no third party. It's just you and them going back and forth across that line. No victim, no persecutor, no rescuer, just pure communication back and forth between you. But Cherie, you say, what if I can't talk to them? They are unreasonable, or I'm scared. They won't listen. They're impossible. They might be. But as I've already demonstrated, bringing in another person does not help the communication between you. It complicates it. But Cherie, you say, I need support. I need someone to work through this with. I need to talk to someone else so I can get some clarity and some validation. Great. And there's a way to do that without that unhealthy triangulation. Remember my friend Kathy, the child whisperer who mentored me through raising my children? I called her when I needed support, when I needed to work through things, when I needed clarity. I will admit, I felt like the victim and often felt like my children were the persecutors. But Kathy did not play the rescuer. She wouldn't play. She was wise. Instead, she kept a neutral role. She listened. She clarified back to me what she thought I was saying. She validated my feelings, but she didn't take my side against anyone. She mentored me. She asked questions to help me find solutions to my problems. She cheerleaded me in implementing those solutions. That's the kind of person you want to talk to when you feel like you're not able to directly talk to the person and you need support. You don't want someone who's going to go, yeah, you were wronged. Let's get them. You want support from someone wise and neutral who will listen, who will validate and problem solve with you. I'm pretty sure this is the second episode in a month where I've encouraged you to get someone who can give you healthy support. Again, I want to emphasize that going directly to the other person is the healthiest way to do things if you can. That back and forth along that horizontal line, communication between you and them, back and forth, direct communication. It's the healthiest way if you've got someone that you can talk to in that way. It's pure, clean communication between you. And if this type of communication has been a struggle in the past, you may want to consider brushing up on some listening and communicating skills. I'll leave a couple of other episodes for you in the show notes about this communication topic that we've talked about in the past, if you want to look into that further. There's also a myriad of books and so much information out there that you can learn from about how to communicate, how to improve your side, because of course you can only improve your side of the communication. But when you do, that ripple effect, it ripples out and it improves the overall communication. My next episode, that is not an interview, as a matter of fact, will also address some thinking in that direction. If you do need another person to talk to besides the one who's causing you the grief, find someone like my friend Kathy, who can stay neutral, who can listen and validate and still keep neutral feelings toward the person that you're having the problem with. Someone who can do that will help you put the problem out in front of you, help you solve the problem and the hurt feelings rather than add fuel to an already angry flame. You want a problem solver. And hopefully you're thinking of someone who can safely play that role for you when needed. I am such a person, and so is my friend and mentor, Kathy. I have years of experience helping people identify the root of the problem, helping them put it out in front of them and solve it and move forward in a healthy way that improves their relationships. I want to share with you a recent testimonial from one of my clients. She says, when we started working together, Cherie used her skills and her spiritual talents to tap into what I needed. She was spiritually in tune on how to get me started. Through the Spirit, she guided me through the middle of weekly commitments to do each day and helped me figure things out for myself. As I was following through with my weekly assignments, the Spirit would give me peace and assist me in answering these questions for myself. Then I would go back and report. Cherie gave me the tools I needed through following the Spirit, and it has brought me to the peace I have been seeking my entire life. This has given me a transformational life experience that continues because I practiced the tools that she gave me. My life is filled with the joy and peace I was seeking through the gospel, but couldn't access because of life experiences. I would love to help you too. Reach out when you're ready. My friend Kathy is still using her child whisperer skills to help families. I asked her if I could include her here for you to have access to, and she graciously agreed. If you would like her special kind of help, I have put a special link on my website to connect you to her. She will talk you through the problem and help you find the solution. She is magic at it. I literally don't know how I would have raised my children without her incredible insight and direction. I invite you this week to be aware in your conversations of triangulation. Look to see if and where it's happening. Identify it and move into a horizontal direct line pattern instead. And reach out to someone healthy when you need support. You got this. I love you, my friend. Please join me again next time for another episode of Just Love Them.